my name's Tori Ann Perky, and from my homeschool to your homeschool, today we're going to talk about why your homeschool probably needs a mid-year review and possibly a reset. Okay, we are roughly halfway through a traditional school year. And if you are anything like me, then you now have 4 months behind you, give or take, where you are now kind of taking a look at your homeschool and you're possibly trying to figure out whether or not you're happy with it, or maybe you're not happy with it. And so the mid-year review is an opportunity to kind of look back, determine what's working, and what's not. And I want to help you figure out how to do that. Now, so here's the deal. No matter how well you planned at the beginning of the year, no matter how much work and effort you put into it, your kids have changed. Your life has changed. Things are different than they were in September or August or whenever you started. And so there's a good chance that you need to change things up. Because we're always experimenting in homeschooling. We're always figuring out what's going to work. And so it's time to do this. I like to actually think of my homeschool year, in 3 4-month chunks. I know that's not how everybody thinks of the school year, but I like to think of the months before December, like from September until the end of December, and then another chunk that happens from January to about April, and then our third chunk is the summer, which is May through August. That's kind of how I like to think about it. And what's nice about that is a 4-month chunk is enough that you kind of know if something's working, but isn't so long that you don't have time to switch things up and try something new. Now, before you get into doing all of the things I'm going to talk about in this video, please keep in mind we are just ending the holidays. That means that you probably just did Thanksgiving, you did Christmas, and those are crazy times for homeschooling. There's breaks, there's travel, there's vacation, and it's really easy to look at that little chunk of time and think that you're completely failing your homeschool because you didn't do anything, because maybe you were so busy traveling, or it's just you lost steam, or things weren't working. So remember that you have to look beyond the holidays and look farther back to kind of get a sense of whether things were working before the holidays started. And then you'll know how you want to move forward. Now, the very first thing I recommend you do to do your mid-year review is go review your homeschool vision. I talk about this all the time. You have to have a vision. You have to know where you're going with your homeschool and what you need to do in order to move forward. And if you don't have that vision, it's really, really hard to know whether or not you're moving forward in the right way. So if you've already created your vision, awesome. Go take a look at it. If you haven't, I want to help you out. I actually have a free lesson that you can listen to that will walk you through step by step how to create a homeschool vision. There's a link going to be below this video or up above or wherever you're watching it so that you can go listen to that lesson and it'll walk you through the steps that you need to do to create a homeschool vision. Because it's really hard to do anything if you don't have that in place. Now, once you have in fact reviewed your homeschool vision, I now recommend that you ask yourself a few questions as part of this mid-year review. Now, the first question is, what is actually working? We want to start with the positive. Look at your curriculum, look at your schedule, look at what you've actually accomplished, and recognize and celebrate the successes. And whatever's working, you want to capitalize on that and you want to keep going. The second question you want to ask yourself is, what parts of your homeschool do you actually look forward to? And this could be anything from, snuggling on the couch, reading, or going on field trips during non-busy times. It might be when you guys get to sit down and play games, or it might even be that you guys are gotten super excited about a certain subject and you just want to go deeper into that subject. Homeschooling's all about the adventure, right? So you're going to look at what are you actually enjoying? Because if you're having fun and your kids are having fun, you are more likely to be leaning into and looking forward to homeschooling every single day. You want to do more of the things that you look forward to and less of the things that you don't. Now we're going to go into the next question. The third question I want you to ask is, what isn't working and why? Not just, the math curriculum we picked, it is not working, but really dig into why isn't it working? Is it not working because you have the wrong schedule? Is it not working because you're doing it at the wrong time? Or is it not working because it is just not the right fit for your kid? If it isn't, that's okay. You can either resell it or you can shelve it and maybe come back to it later and move on to something else or change directions. I know that that's what we're doing with a particular math curriculum with one of my kids. We are completely changing and trying something completely new because as I've done my mid-year review, I'm realizing what we were trying is not working. Other things are really working. But the reason I was able to make the switch is because I didn't just say, oh, it's not working, but I figured out why, so I knew what I was looking for in the new change. The next question, what are you dreading? What do you dread about homeschool and why? Is it that you dread sitting on, everybody says that you're supposed to sit on the couch and read with your kids, but you dread it, but because you have a 2-year-old that's running around, pulling on the book and wreaking havoc while you're trying to read? Okay, it might be time to either address that child's needs or maybe try to do it in a different way or maybe just do something different altogether. If you look at the why of what you're dreading, you'll be able to have a foundation to then make different decisions and move forward. Now, after you've asked yourself those questions, the third thing you want to do is figure out, okay, what are you going to keep as is? What do you need to keep and adjust? And what do you just want to toss? What are you completely done with? And you say, you know what, that didn't work. No guilt, no shame. It happens to the best of us. It happens to all of us. You move forward, you're always tweaking and adjusting. Now, there's a couple just quick things to keep in mind that I recommend as you're doing this. First of all, we almost always have too much crammed into our homeschool schedule. Simple is better. So as you are doing this review, be sure to be looking to take things out because almost always that is the answer rather than trying to put things in. The second thing I just want you to keep in mind is that there's a good chance that things are working more than you realize. It is so easy to see all the things that aren't working. It's a lot easier to miss the things that are working. And sometimes the changes are imperceptible, very, very slowly, incremental. I remember when we were teaching my son to read, it felt like it wasn't working and it wasn't working and it wasn't working. And it took forever to get to the point where he was finally reading. And it was because and it wasn't because we weren't doing the right things. It was because it just needed time and it needed incremental steps by step. And we were only going to get there if we just kept going. So keep in mind that more is actually happening than you may realize. Now, those are my 3 major steps. First, review your homeschool vision. And if you haven't got a homeschool vision, go check out that lesson so you can write one. Second, ask yourself the questions that I went through. And the third is figure out what you're going to keep, what you're going to adjust, and what you're going to toss. Now, if you're looking for a major reset, and I'm talking like nothing's working and you want to go back to the drawing board and you're just feeling overwhelmed and maybe even like you want to quit, then please, please, please check out my free webinar. It's called Confident Homeschool Secrets, and I go through many of the secrets that longtime homeschoolers know that really, really, really can help you be successful as a homeschool family, as a homeschool mom, as a homeschool dad. It's completely free, and there is a link to sign up to watch that as well. I am excited for you. We are headed into, the second half of the year. This is when you really dig in and you can make your homeschool happen, and it's time to just adjust a few things so you can finish out the year super successfully. My name's Tori Ann Perky, and from my homeschool to your homeschool, happy homeschooling. I make these videos every week so that you can be a successful and confident homeschool mom.